It has been so weird coming out on the other side of one of the worst eras of my life. Like 2023 was rough. A lot of good things happened, but it was rough. But I mean from like 2020 to 2023, I did not realize that whole time I was just gravely unwell. But coming out to see the other side of that and realizing that I have to pick up all the pieces has been fucking terrifying, especially because I literally have no basis to trust myself to pick up the pieces in a way that I would want. Like, I know I always pick up the pieces, no matter what, I always get my shit right. But a lot slips through the cracks. Like, I have failed classes before. I have missed countless deadlines. Just so much backhanded bullshit happens as a consequence of me not knowing how to communicate my capacities on time and outsource for the things that I need to outsource for. But finally coming to a place where I can rely on myself to do more than I did before is crazy, because I'm allowed to fall back on myself. I'm allowed to fall back on other people as well, but considering I don't really have many people that really anyone in my life that I feel comfortable falling back on if I needed to, it's crazy knowing that I can fall back on myself and I can trust myself to be honest with my emotions and with where I'm at. Because I was thinking about this the other day. This is the first time that I have been extenuatingly sober for a long time. In 2020, in this whole period, 2020 to 2023. I mean, it has been 10 days, but that being said, 10 days. 10 fucking days. That is so exciting to me. That is so exciting to me. And there's a lot of bad and ugly. But that's also just me coming back to the surface and realizing that I do have to catch my breath. And there's a lot that's just gonna fucking hit me by storm and that I'm not gonna know how to deal with immediately. But being in a place where I can resonate with my emotions and I'm not always chasing them away means that I can deal with them head on, and I can use preventative measures instead of just fucking reconciliatory ones, because I deserve better than to let myself fall before I pick myself back up. I feel like that's been something very big that I've had to kind of work on redeveloping my understanding of, but I deserve better than, to have to lose faith in myself before I use that faith to rebuild it. I want it to be continually grown rather than just dashed and then reinstilled, because I was able to show up for myself at the end of the day. Off campus life. It's I don't know. Getting to believe in myself is such a privilege that I haven't had in so long. And just seeing myself deal with all these things that are just hitting me from 1,010 directions. I don't know how the fuck to do any of it, really. I was gonna say most of it. I don't know how the fuck to do any of it. I've done a lot of it before, but never in a way that's felt right. I've gotten results that have felt right, but after killing myself to get there. But being at a point where I'm able to make changes in my life before killing myself to make them. Oh, man. I feel like I'm about to pass out. Do you ever have that little, like, it's crazy because I want to get, like, real curtains too. Because my neighbor, oh God, my neighbor is like 30 some, like mid-30s. And I thought that was like my like live-in guy best friend. Right, which I'm like saying it out loud now. Even just like moments like those, like I get to be honest with myself and be like, oh, like this just isn't outwardly a good idea. But also because I feel like I knew that it wasn't a good idea in the moment. I didn't do anything with it. Oh God, I didn't touch that man. I never let him touch me. Oh hell no. But whenever he like made a little innuendo, popped a little hint of something my way, I was like, that kind of sent me into crisis. I'm not gonna lie, that definitely sent me a little bit into crisis. But like for me, it's more just like whenever I am being honest with my emotions, I'm able to be honest with the times that even if things feel shitty, terrible, horrible, disgusting, instead of finding like a quick fix, I can be legitimate with myself about if that quick fix is something that placates or resolves. Because so much of the time, whenever I just felt that grave loneliness, I just run to the nearest source of alleviation. But a lot of the time, the most time efficient solution is not the most emotionally and developmentally efficient one. So I'm just like being able to be honest with myself now, just about the fact that like so many things I was doing just didn't serve me, but I ran to them because I didn't trust myself to take time with myself. I'm like, I love knowing that I can recognize that I deserve to be taken time with. And I love acknowledging the fact that even if there is not a single other facet in my life that I'm receiving that in, that I still know that that is something that I deserve and something that I have to bring to myself at the end of the day. That's not the happy part. I don't like having to bring that to myself, but the fact that I can sense that discomfort and not, yeah, go running into the nearest open arms. Like, I'm glad that I can have that discernment with who belongs in my life and who deserves levels of access to me, because there's a lot of people that don't belong in my life or just don't belong as close as they are in my life. And I'm just really, really glad for that, because like being at a place where just like being sober is crazy, because it's like my emotions are so bright and vibrant that like whenever I'm discomforted, I'm so discomforted, and I'd usually just like fucking, yeah, hit the pen, call it a day. But it's made it so that I really know what the fuck is up. Like if the vibes are just like off, like way off, I can sense that shit from miles away. Like miles and miles away. And then I can get the fuck out instead of just smoking myself silly and putting myself in environments that I do not belong in. So I'm just like, hey, I love. Like, I really enjoy that. I really enjoy the fact that I can be honest with myself, because I feel like so many of the problems that I have just transpired because I wasn't honest with myself soon enough. Which it sucks, because like having the acknowledgement that no self-development should have to happen on the timeline but also knowing that in the world that I live in, like in, yeah, fucking capitalism, everything has to happen on a timeline. And I feel like smoking so much of the time was like nice because I was like, oh, I don't have to exist within this timeline, which is true. But also, if the system only delivers you certain things on that timeline, then I need to then realize that if I am smoking and missing this timeline and then missing the things that come from it, then it doesn't mean that I have to find comfort in the timeline whatsoever. But it means that if I am choosing to stay in America for the entirety of college, I can't just keep missing opportunities and making myself miserable. It doesn't mean that that timeline always has to be abided by, but it means that I have to be in a state of realization with myself where I can be honest of what I need to get the resources that would either come from that timeline or get the resources to make that timeline, which I'm realizing like as much as I like time liberation is a very, very important thing to me because I'm like, we're not supposed to live like this. But I'm also like, I'm not going to keep doing the same thing that keeps depriving me of resources to ultimately time liberate myself. And not in a like, oh, work, and then golden years, but in a, if I want to fucking escape or if I want to change things, there are certain resources that I kind of have to leverage. And I was at the point where I wasn't leveraging them with the timeline, but then I also didn't have the motivation to pursue them external. So now it's like I'm pursuing them external, and for anything within the timeline that exceeds my capacities at the time, I am outsourcing for the resources to be able to gain those resources resulting from using the timeline without having to like stress myself out over the finish line, if that makes any sense. But it's just like, it's crazy being real with myself. And it's crazy being comfortable in sobriety because genuinely, like last year, I took a tea break. It was like 38 days. That was the longest I have ever gone in like 3 years. Um, but like that worked. Yeah, 3 years. But that was like, oh, I need to chill on smoking. But this is like, I want to chill on smoking. And I really enjoy it. I feel like I also feel like so much less a sense of panic. Because my thing is, I'm like, ideally, I would want to be at a place where I can smoke. But I'm like, I don't trust myself right now with the level of access that I'm having or that I'm giving, like weed to my life. That I'm giving myself to weed. I don't trust myself within that to still materialize my goals. So that was something that was really, really hard to admit. Like, as much as it's not, like, if the world worked the way that it should, it would be something that I wouldn't have to panic myself into kind of understanding. Because I was like at the point where like I would just like smoke and freak out. You know, like smoke and then question the fucking world around you, you know. I feel like I always smoke and question the world around me, but this is more like a like harrowing, like trepidation type vibe rather than like a chiller's delight, like Trappers Anonymous, you know. Like that was not fun. All was not well in the world. I would smoke and then freak out. And it was not my favorite thing ever at all. It definitely was not my favorite thing ever. And I'm just like, to be able to be real with myself, I have to question everything. And I'm so grateful for a lot of the themes that I kind of learned over that 3 year period because I feel like, as much as it was like a period of crisis, I don't even want to say crisis because it wasn't. A lot of good happened, but it was all kind of in the name of survival. Like every second, I felt like something was just like impeding. And now, for the first time, when I don't feel anything impeding. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, I've wanted to have my shit right for the longest time, and now that I'm like having my shit right, I kept saying, oh, I'm so close to having my shit right, but no, I have my shit right. It's not that fucking every single box is checked, but it's the fact that I'm at a place of complete mobilization of all my solutions. Like, not all of them have been mobilized yet, but the fact that there's not a single fucking barrier to entry, that's that econ. That's that econ. There's not a single barrier to entry for well-being right now. I mean, other than systemic ones, but I'm like, I never fucking cared. Genuinely never cared. Like, of course, still does have like an overarching effect, but I'm like, that determines the circumstances in which I operate, but it does not determine how I operate. It can influence it, determining on like mindset and the presence of community in my life and the people that I surround myself with and the resources that I'm able to attain, internal and external, to the system. But it's like, I think I like this little life. But I'm also like, I just went on some fucking close friends talking about, I take it all back. Because yesterday got ugly. Or today. Yeah, literally, I'm talking about yesterday. Like, this wasn't fucking 3 hours ago. Yeah. Today got really ugly, actually. Today got really ugly. I was not having a good time. I'll say that for a fact. I was not having a good time. And I'm still not having the best time. But it's the fact that I'm able to like check in with myself. I'm like, damn, I think I like this little life. Like, what? And like, I'm still like amidst kind of the bullshit and buffoonery. I'm like, I still have so many goals. I'm still smart as fuck, lit as fuck, love my face, love my life. Like, the fact that I can like come back to those like keystones of well-being for real, I'm like, damn, I like this little life. Maybe just a little, but I think I'm living this little life a little bit, you know? Maybe like the slightest, but I think I fuck with this little life. And I feel like a really big realization that I'm very glad to have is like, I don't have to be averted to well-being. And I knew that for the longest time. I feel like I had consciously chose my happiness for so long, but I feel like the subconscious selection of it has to do with your identification of self-preservation, and like, if you are able to put yourself in environments that promote your well-being and take yourself out of ones that do nothing but counteract it. Even if it's not a do nothing but counteract it, being able to grow that honesty with yourself reminds you that you are able to take care of yourself, and you are able, not even, I don't mean ever take care of yourself in like an individualistic, like, oh, I did it all by myself way. No. Because the whole basis of well-being is not supposed to be fucking individual. Because you could be well in like with yourself literally forever, but your life exists. Even your smallest ecological system is your fucking microsystem, which literally still contains all the people that you interact with like regularly. Like, your life is never going to exist within an echo chamber unless you dead ass live alone, like hermit type vibe. But like, if you have any interactions with anything, even if it's not other people, I have to remind myself this a lot, because I'm like, oh, I literally like live like, yeah, I fucking talk to nobody, echo chamber type vibe. But I'm also like, hell no. There's still many people that I interact with on a day-to-day, whether they be like service workers or classmates, teachers. Like, I might not have a lot of friends, but I do have a lot of interactions, and remembering that I have a place in every single one of those, and the fact that I am still responsible for and accountable for all of my actions and interactions. I'm like, I love learning about myself and about who I am and about how to kind of shape that in conjunction with the person that I want to be. Because this is something really big that I realized. I don't know if I want to talk my shit about this yet. But I realized that the um, I realized that whenever I was younger, I was closer to being the person that I wanted to be. I don't even want to say closer, like comparatively, but I was a hell of a lot close to the person that I wanted to be, or that I want to be whenever I grow up. It's funny because, like, whenever you're younger, you really haven't done shit but made mud pies and just bull. But, like, that's what I loved. It's the fact that exploration, discovery, creativity, and just like unequivocal well being were like my biggest goals. They were my biggest goals. And I'm just like, I want to be unadulteratedly fucking happy. I want nothing to be opposing my well being that is not within my realm of control. And if it is within my realm of control, then it doesn't have to oppose my well being if I trust in my discernment to look for the resources and look for the community that I need to make it out to see the other side. So it's like, no matter what, it's not like every fucking day I'm gonna have a smile on my face, but it's the fact that I know how to get there and the fact that I trust myself to always mobilize solutions to getting there because I'm not comfortable with misery. I'm not comfortable with misery because I'm not comfortable with the stagnation that accompanies. I am comfortable with exploration. I am comfortable with looking beyond what I know already. I am comfortable with being unfamiliar with circumstances so that I can fucking learn something. And like, just choosing happiness and having my actual actions couple that for the first time in so long. And it's literally in their entirety. Like, there are some things still that I'm like, oh, this could be improved, this could be improved. But like a lot of the key upstream factors have been like ameliorated because I'm like, I decided that I deserved better. And that if so many things I can pinpoint as creating large issues for me are within my control, then I better fucking put my hands on the reins and steer them in a way that actually serves me. Because I'm like, I refuse to be miserable whenever I am ultimately autonomous in all of my circumstances. And if I'm not autonomous in the circumstance, then I can leave the circumstance. That's something that I'm very grateful for. I'm at a point in my life where I can leave any circumstance that genuinely doesn't serve me. And that's another thing that I feel like makes capitalism not at all bearable, but in the moment livable, because I do have goals that I want to accomplish that exist under capitalism right now. Like, I want to finish college for more expectations than having college be a credential. I'm not. If I was trying to just go to college for the credential, I honestly would have fucking dropped out because I'm like, this is not worth it enough to justify just getting that fucking degree. Like, hell yeah, we're getting that degree by any means, but the degree is like the fucking side dish. The main entree is the fact that I have literally journal databases at the fucking tip of my fingers. I have adults that have been studying these things for so long that I can learn interpersonally from, and I can learn how they've materialized a lot of solutions to the things that I see around the world that I want to change. I have opportunities to study things that I feel like I wouldn't be as compelled to study outside of those settings, or that at the time of entering college I wouldn't have felt as compelled to study at the time of those things. I'm undergoing so many like personal developments because of kind of the goals and requirements that college does set for me. And I feel like because I've gained my autonomy in my happiness here, it doesn't feel suffocating. But if I hadn't, and if college was just a credential, and if there were no passions attached to it, then I wouldn't fucking do it. I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. Which is why I'm like, the second that I feel like I'm falling off, not the second, I definitely want to like ride it out a little bit, but I'm like, if I can't ride the wave anymore, if it's really making me kill myself about that degree, oh, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because I know I'm smart. I know I'm explorative. I know that there's a million and 10 things that I know and a million and 10 things that I want to learn. And like, that doesn't have to exist with an institutional education. But basically, what I was saying is like the fact that all of it is just like if I really wanted to, I could probably like sell my car and get a ticket to another country. Like, I don't know what the hell I would be doing there for real, but like I could probably make it work. I don't know. Just bull with the locals. I feel like I'd be so good at just bullying with the locals. I need to do my homework low key. Low key. Yeah. But like all is well in the world. And I feel very, very, very good about being able to say that this stage of my life. Type of realizations. But I'm really happy. And of course, that's always a work in progress. But the fact that I feel comfortable seeking my happiness and identifying where it's present and where it's not, I'm happy with myself. I'm really fucking happy with myself, and I am so happy with how I'm growing. I'm hungry as a bitch. If we're gonna be honest, I'm hungry as fuck. But overarchingly, I'm happy with myself. So hungry as a bitch, have some homework to do. But that's the thing that I realized also learning how to show up with myself or show up for myself and like stopping smoking, it makes it so that I'm just not trying to just meet deadlines, which is a big reason that I also stopped smoking because I was like, it right now I'm using college as a credential. I'm just making deadlines, learning to the test, and I'm just leaving it at that. But I'm like, I love fucking learning, and I don't want to stop learning just because I'm on some gobbledygook. Like, no, like cut the hullabaloo, like cut it all, kill it all. I want to learn first and foremost. So if I want to get what I want to get out of this experience, I'm going to make it so that I am in a state to be doing that. And now I am in a state to be doing that. And I'm very happy with myself. But yeah. Because I'm like, oh, I love fucking reading my social textbook. Like, hey. And I love retaining the fucking information that I'm learning and being able to talk about it with people and like spread, like disseminate to the masses. Because I'm like, knowledge is so fucking liberating. Exploration is so fucking liberating. And like, I feel like it's just opened so many doors for me to just, yeah. Because I feel like a really big thing, especially with like having fucking ADHD, it's like everything is just like a consistent dopamine hit. So smoking was nice because like yeah, it is a depressant, but like literally just the act of smoking, it's like Papa's Pizzeria. Like I'm literally sitting in there fucking chefing it the fuck up. It's just such a fun little routine. And then like hitting the vape on occasion, such a fun little routine. Oh, and don't get me wrong, I still fuck up the vape from time to a time, but I don't have my own. And I literally threw away fucking everything. I threw away my tobacco, I threw away my pipe, I threw away my weed, that little tiny itty bitty bit of weed. Because I kept telling myself like, oh, if I hop back on, I want to have it. If I hop back on, I want to have it. But then I'm like, I'm setting myself up. I'm setting myself up because, yeah, I'm setting myself up and I deserve more than that because I want this to be something that like has longevity to it. So I'm like, if it really is something where I'm like, the date of tapping back in is just like arbitrary. Well, not arbitrary. It's actually very not arbitrary, actually. It's very intentional. If I'm being intentional with the date that I tap back in being a time that I've gauged full comfortability with myself and a time that I have discerned, yeah, I have the discernment to be able to identify when is good for me to like hit the vape and chill the fuck out, or hit the pen and chill the fuck out, and when's not, then it's not gonna be something that I'm doing in a moment of need where I have to go back to a fucking little itty bitty bit of weed. It's like, I think if I ever, and I love the fact that I'm saying if I ever, because realistically, actually, no. I feel like I keep feeling so inclined to say realistically I'm gonna smoke again in the future. Realistically, XYZ. Just because I know, like, anyone that knows me knows that it was like a very large keystone of just like my day-to-day activities. But I'm also like, I don't need to have weed at all in the forefront of who the fuck I am. Because I'm very big on like living off the land. No, I'm kidding. Well, no, because if we're gonna talk about it, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm very big on like self-sustenance, and not in like a individualism way, like, oh, like every man for himself. Hell no. I'm big on self-sustenance in the way that like if I have the resources within me to optimize my individual well-being and prohibit my demise, then getting to the absolute most point of benefit from internally sourced things is always going to be my goal. So that whenever external things are added on, it's supplemental rather than integral. Because I know, like, certain things, like, literally a given for being integral, like community, like outside help, stuff like that. But I more mean like material things like substances, not including medications, because I feel like that's always a slippery slope for me. I do want to get to the point in my life where I don't need medications, but I feel like a lot of the time, whenever I tell myself I don't need them, then it just, you know, like at the core of it, it's just like, um, anyways. But it's like, for weed, it's like, it was not my favorite thing ever. I don't like getting tired because I don't like feeling like debilitated type vibe. So it's like, because I'd get fried and get the type of paranoid, not like, oh, someone's gonna kill me, or not, oh, like boogeyman. But I'd get fried and be like, oh, my legs don't work anymore. Or I won't be able to walk the fuck upstairs and take my ass to bed. Or like, I can't do anything right now, even if I wanted to. And I just freak out for hours and stay up, even though I'm talking about some, oh, I'm so tired, I could literally keel over and die right now. It's scary feeling like you can't trust your own body. It's really, really scary. And I didn't like it at all because I'm like, oh my God, it freaks me out. It really, really freaked me out because I'm like, I don't like feeling so debilitated within my well being. I don't like not having my hands on the reins. And I feel like that's the thing that really sobriety has gave me a sense of. It has me have my hands on the reins. Like, yes, emotions are like very, very severe, but I'm also like, as much as the bad can get really bad, the good is so much better than it was before. And that makes up for fucking everything because that mobilizes me to actually look at the upstream factors of why the bad and the ugly are bad and ugly and solve those in their legitimacy rather than put a band-aid on them by hitting the pen and chilling the fuck out. Because I can hit the pen and chill the fuck out always and forever. But if whenever I'm sober I don't like the world around me, I'm like, what the hell am I living for? Like, I don't want to be on that desert island asking who the fuck has a pen, tweaking out to see if someone has a charger and just freaking out the rest of the time. I want to know that I have myself set. I want to know that there is not a single thing outside of myself materially that I need for my well being. And even if I was on a desert island, no meds me even would be kind of lit. Because I would have like people to talk to. It would just be like, ugh, like grade A commiseration. It's like, de facto communism. Oh, I'm there. Oh, I'm there. Oh, we'll literally just start a commune and then it'll become intentional. Whenever the rescue boats come, we all just hide. We all just fucking hide. We all just hide because we are so okay. You're so okay and we're living life. That's my goal. I don't want to be the bitch to blow the cover because I'm like, who has a bed? Like, I want to keep the commune up and running. I'm not trying to blow anybody's cover. Oh. Lots said. Lots to do still. I still do have a lot to do. But it does not terrify me. And I know that it's something that I can get done. That's a feeling that I really, really missed. Just knowing that I can do the things that it is that I want to do. Knowing, especially whenever it comes to like creative things too. I'm like, oh, I don't write this down and just do it later. I mean, I write it down if it's not something I could do in the moment. But like, if it's something that I could do right now, or like even just things to improve my like area, like right now, like if I was like too cold or like too warm or like sensorily uncomfortable, hitting the pen and chilling the fuck out would be like the first line of defense instead of like fixing why I'm uncomfortable. So I'm like, oh, I love that. I love that I can be real with myself, and I love that I can actually show up for myself instead of like just trying to numb myself to a point where I can't discern what feels right and what doesn't. Like, I love being able to be honest with myself and having that be enough. Because it's not always fucking flowers and roses and sunshine and fucking rainbows. But the fact that I can be honest with myself so that even if I don't have the answer right now, that's the thing that I'm realizing. A lot of the times I don't have the answer. Most of the time I don't have the answer. But it's the fact that I don't feel stagnant anymore and that I know that I can get an answer if I look for one. That's what I love. I love trusting myself. I love trusting myself. I love trusting myself. I love trusting myself. I'm finding it so exciting to be able to remind myself of just the things that I love about sobriety, because I feel like I always used to be so nervous to do it, like days that I just like wouldn't smoke, because there were some days I just wouldn't smoke. It's not like it was like all day every day, especially towards the tail end. I really was tapering because I was uncomfortable with how much I was smoking for like a long time. But it's like now I don't lie to myself and I'm like, oh yeah, that was nice, but it wouldn't be sustainable. Hell yeah, it could be. Hell yeah, I could sustain myself. It's not something that only lasts for 2 seconds. I am able to trust in myself. I am able to trust myself. I am able to trust myself. Because I realized by just smoking every day, I kept fucking traumatizing myself by setting expectations and goals that were integral to my well-being, and then putting myself in a state where I couldn't even, hi cat, where I couldn't do them. I love being able to do that for myself. I love it a lot. Yeah. Yeah. I like this little life. I had a really shitty day today, but I still like this little life. Like, and sitting here talking to myself is beautiful because now I feel a little bit better. It was a really, really ugly day. It was a very ugly day. I did not have fun. I cried a lot, which I don't really like crying that much. It's definitely not my favorite thing ever. Because I just always feel stupid whenever I cry, but I'm also like learning how to just like be honest with my fucking emotions and know that's what I needed. Even if I didn't like it, it's what I needed. And I feel like I'm growing into liking it because I'm realizing that is what I needed. And me doing that was me meeting my need. And like, yeah, it's unfamiliar, but becoming comfortable. And I'm really glad for that. So yeah, I am fucking nervous for anything, everything, all of it, all the time. But I'm free. And I don't feel still anymore. I believe that I can trust in myself. And I believe that anytime I can't, I can have the honesty with myself to look for resources. I believe that I prioritize my self-preservation And that after seeing it so clearly, literally so much fucking clarity, that it's something that I don't want to be dissonant to anymore. And that it's something I'll be able to draw reference to forever. If I do hop back on, I'm not going to shame myself. I'm just going to immediately remember the fact that it was beautiful to be in such fucking resonation with all my emotions. And that is something that I did and did very well and benefited a hell of a lot from, and something that is a safe thing for me to do. And then I don't always need to fucking survive. I don't always need to have all the answers, because Lord fucking knows I don't. Lord knows I don't. But it's the fact that I'm never just gonna fucking close the door. I'm not. I'm gonna walk right through it. I'm gonna meet what's on the other side, and I'm gonna come with my dukes up every time. Yeah. Y'all have a nice night.